Welcome back to SportsLine. We continue our conversation with the VOT, the voice of the Titans, the great Mike Keith here on SportsLine. Kind enough to join us on this Tuesday night. Mike, some news today. We talked about Kevin Byard coming off the reserve COVID-19 list, back on the active roster. Hopefully he'll be good to go for Sunday against the Jaguars. And while we await Derrick Henry to possibly return this season, he will be the Titans representative to be nominated for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award, which is a unbelievable, one of the biggest single awards other than league MVP that you can get. And you know, we know Derrick to be a terrific football player and a real humble team-first guy, but he's done some amazing things in the community over the last few years, hasn't he?
It's been incredible. And for him to be our Walter Payton Man of the Year, he follows in a line of guys who've been incredible representatives of our franchise off the field. For Derrick, he's always done a lot of things, John. The majority of the stuff he's done, he hasn't wanted anybody to know about.
Right.
And now that he has a foundation, I think he realizes he can do more for more people by doing things more publicly. And so it's kind of like he took that step out of the shadows of DeMarco Murray and he became the guy. And now he's more of a vocal leader on our team. It's the same thing with his community presence. Now, there's still things that people with the team are privy to that he does that he doesn't want anybody to know.
Right.
And I don't know everything. I know some things. And let me just tell you this. He's an amazing person. I think Derrick Henry is a better person than he is football player.
Wow.
And I'm proud that he plays for our organization, represents our ownership, represents our city and our region in the way that he does. And what I'm most proud of is if your son or daughter or nephew or friend, if Derrick Henry is his idol or her idol, good. You've picked a good one.
Yeah, he's not going to let anybody down, and I've been impressed with him again, really being a genuine team-first, humble guy. And you know, that's very rare today. We got a lot of divas in this league, Mike, as you know.
Well, and that's just not who he is. You know, that's just not how he rolls. And I mean, I think we're all anxious to see if he can get back. And I think if you're the Titans or you're a Titans fan, the best play is to think, okay, he's not coming back. And then if he does, it's a bonus.
Right.
I think if you play it that way in your mind, that's the easiest way to go. But from the standpoint of him being part of us and what he's done over 6 years, I mean, this is a guy who was almost third string, you know, at this point 3 years ago.
Yep. And
has fought his way back to become one of the faces of not just the franchise. He is the face of the franchise. He's one of the faces of the NFL. And I'm sure for the people in New York City at the NFL office to see Derrick Henry be one of the 32 team Walter Payton Man of the Years, the thought that he could win the big one is mind-boggling.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And like I said, I got the utmost respect for him, the way he carries himself. And, you know, he's the most popular athlete in our city. I know, you know, Roman Yossi's real popular with the Preds, and Pecorine was super popular when he was here, but I think Derrick's at the top of the mountain. Okay. Jaguars coming in this week. Listen, divisional opponent, you never know. I mean, Houston a couple of weeks ago, need I say more? You know, the Jags, last week notwithstanding, have been pretty competitive for most of the season. You know, you have a rookie quarterback in Trevor Lawrence who's still trying to find his way, and Herb, despite some off-field issues, I think has done a pretty good job of getting his guys ready to play week in and week out. Not a look-past game for the Titans this week.
Well, they're going to want to make it what Houston made it, you know, back on November 21st. They want a fist fight in the dirt that's you know, I talked to Frank Frangie, the voice of the Jaguars, yesterday, and he made it very clear. He goes, I had 17, 13, 19, 16. They haven't scored over 23 points in a game this year.
Wow.
So that's what they want to make it. They want to keep it down to where they're in range. Their defense under Joe Cullen has actually played pretty well. They've had some troubles offensively because they don't have receivers with great speed. Once they lost DJ Chark,
right,
and once Travis Etienne was not able to play this year, a couple of their speed weapons went away. And listen, they're very dangerous, especially if they do a lot of the RPO things that Trevor Lawrence can do. The question in the NFL is, how far do you want to go with RPOs? Because that exposes your quarterback.
Yeah.
And,
yep.
you know, how much of a chance do you want? You know, Harold Landry gets a free shot at him because he's on an RPO, or Big Jeff, Danico Autry. That ain't good for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. So we'll see. But can they muck it up and make it the kind of game the Titans don't want to play? Yes, they can. Tennessee can't let that happen. I think one of the keys to this ball game is getting ahead. The Titans did that early in the game at Jacksonville, and it turned out to be a massively, massively important factor.
Mike Keith, you're the absolute best. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My best to you and your wonderful family.
Thank you, John.
All right, and we are back to wrap things up right after this.